When you wake up each morning, the world is already full of distractions, pulling you in every direction. Your phone dings with notifications. Your mind races through 1,000 thoughts, and before you know it, the day has slipped away. But what if I told you that true productivity isn't about trying harder? It's about focusing on what matters and eliminating everything that doesn't. The greatest minds in history didn't rely on willpower alone. They mastered focus, turning it into a superpower. And you can too. The first step in mastering focus is understanding that it's not something you can force. Focus is not a muscle you build by brute strength. It's a filter. It's the ability to say no, to set boundaries, and to simplify. Every choice you make takes a little bit of your mental energy, and if you don't protect that energy, it gets drained by things that don't matter. So how do we start? Simple. Create a not-to-do list. Focus on what you won't do. It's easy to think that productivity is about doing more, about checking off more boxes. But the truth is, it's about doing less. You see, the most successful people are not the ones who do more. They're the ones who eliminate distractions, who make fewer, more impactful decisions, and who dedicate themselves to the few things that will move them forward. What does your not-to-do list look like? For me, it's simple. No checking emails before my morning ritual. No social media during deep work sessions. No unnecessary meetings. I've learned to guard my time like a fortress. It's not about avoiding work. It's about avoiding the things that will waste my energy and steal my attention. Ask yourself, what are you doing that doesn't move you closer to your goals? What activities are draining your mental reserves? Each time you say no to something that doesn't serve your purpose, you say yes to something that matters. That's how focus works. Focus is a filter, not a muscle. You don't build focus by forcing it. You create it by narrowing your options. Imagine you're playing a game of Plinko, with that ball dropping through a maze of pegs, bouncing off every obstacle, going in unpredictable directions. This is how most people live their lives. They're constantly bouncing around from one thing to the next, getting distracted by every ping, every email, every new thought. But if you want to master focus, you need to remove the pegs, clear the obstacles, and drop the ball straight into the center. To achieve that, you need to eliminate distractions. First, start by identifying your low-value tasks. If it's something you can outsource or delegate, do it. If it's a task that doesn't contribute to your bigger vision, stop doing it. Time is your most precious resource, and you cannot afford to waste it on things that don't move you forward. Then, take a good look at your habits. Bad habits are like silent thieves, slowly stealing your focus and energy. Whether it's procrastinating, overthinking, or falling into cycles of self-doubt, these habits need to go. They're not helping you, they're holding you back. So, break the chains. Replace those habits with actions that align with your goals. The third element of this focus system is energy vampires. These are the people and situations that drain your energy. They suck the life out of you, leaving you less than you were before. Whether it's a toxic relationship, a negative work environment, or even just a series of small, draining interactions, you need to protect your energy. Surround yourself with people who lift you up, who challenge you to be better, and who support your vision. Say goodbye to the energy vampires, and you'll find your focus growing stronger each day. Now, with distractions cleared, bad habits broken, and energy vampires eliminated, you've created the foundation for deep focus. But here's the thing. Focus is not something that happens by chance. You don't just sit down at your desk and hope for inspiration. You must create an environment that triggers focus. Focus triggers are simple but powerful. They are rituals, spaces, sounds, and cues that help you transition into a state of deep work. For me, it's a certain chair I sit in, a specific playlist I listen to, and a set routine I follow every morning. These are my triggers, and they tell my brain that it's time to focus. When I sit in that chair, when the music starts, when my morning ritual is completed, my brain knows it's time to go into high-performance mode. You can create your own focus triggers. Maybe it's a specific desk, a pair of headphones, or even a particular time of day. Find what works for you and make it a habit. Once you've designed your triggers, you'll find that it's much easier to slip into a state of flow. And when you're in flow, that's when the magic happens. That's when your best work is created. But focus isn't just about creating an environment that works for you. It's about creating the right environment within yourself. It's about conditioning your mind to tune out distractions and stay on task. And that requires self-discipline. Discipline is often misunderstood. It's not about forcing yourself to do things you don't want to do. It's about creating a system that makes the work easier. It's about building habits that support your goals, not the ones that hinder them. Discipline is the freedom to work without resistance. It's the power of doing what you know you should do, even when it's hard. So, if you want to master your focus, if you want to unlock the power of your mind and turn it into a superhuman productivity machine, you must commit to the process. Start by eliminating distractions. Create your focus triggers and build habits that support your goals. The more you practice, the easier it becomes. Focus will become second nature. And once that happens, there's no limit to what you can achieve. You've heard it before, haven't you? Discipline is the key to success. But what does that actually mean? And more importantly, how do you turn good intentions into consistent action? Here's the truth. Discipline isn't about forcing yourself to do things you don't want to do. It's not about trying harder or pushing through resistance. Discipline is about building a system that works for you. It's about creating a structure in your life that makes success inevitable. It all starts with understanding that discipline is a skill. Like any other skill, it can be learned, practiced, and refined. The reason most people fail to follow through on their goals is not because they lack willpower, but because they lack a system that supports their success. Without a system, discipline is just a fleeting feeling. You might feel disciplined for a day, a week, or even a month. But without a solid framework in place, that discipline will fade. So, how do you build a system that supports discipline? Start by setting clear, specific goals. Don't just say, "I want to be successful." That's too vague. Success is different for everyone, and if you don't define what it means to you, you'll never know when you've reached it. Instead, break your goals down into smaller, more actionable steps. Next, design your day around those goals. The key to consistency is making progress every single day, no matter how small. If your goal is to write a book, don't aim to finish it in a month. Instead, set a goal to write 500 words every day. If your goal is to get fit, don't aim to lose 20 pounds in 2 weeks. Aim to exercise for 30 minutes every day, no matter what. Now, you might be thinking, but what if I don't feel like it? And that's the moment when true discipline kicks in. It's not about waiting for motivation to strike. It's about committing to the process even when you don't feel like it. Because here's the secret. Motivation is overrated. Motivation comes and goes, but discipline is a choice. It's a decision you make every single day, to show up, to do the work, and to trust the process. One of the most powerful ways to build discipline is to create routines. Routines take the decision-making out of the equation. They turn your goals into habits, which is where the real magic happens. When something becomes a habit, it no longer requires willpower. It's just part of who you are. But routines alone aren't enough. You must also create accountability. Find someone who will hold you to your commitments, who will check in on your progress and encourage you to keep going. This could be a mentor, a friend, or even a coach. Accountability creates a sense of responsibility, and that responsibility fuels your discipline. The final piece of the puzzle is consistency. It's easy to start strong, to get excited and make big plans. But true success comes from showing up every day, doing the work even when you don't feel like it. When you commit to consistency, your discipline will become unstoppable. You'll build momentum, and soon, your actions will speak louder than your words. So, if you want to build discipline, stop looking for motivation. Stop waiting for the perfect moment. Instead, start today. Set clear goals, design your day around them, create a routine, find accountability, and commit to consistency. It's not going to be easy. But remember, nothing worth having ever is. Keep going, and the results will follow. We've all experienced it. That feeling of starting something and not following through. You set a goal, get excited, maybe even create a plan. But before you know it, your enthusiasm fades. The problem isn't that you lack willpower. The problem lies in how you approach momentum. Momentum is often misunderstood. People think that momentum is something you build by starting small, by making easy wins. They believe that if they accomplish a few small tasks, the momentum will carry them through the bigger challenges. But here's the reality. Momentum isn't built on easy wins. It's built on starting big, starting hard, and pushing through the resistance. Here's why. When you start with something difficult, it forces you to give more than you thought you could. It pushes you into a new gear. You can't coast through. You can't get by with minimal effort. And that's where true growth happens. You don't build momentum by doing the easy stuff. You build it by doing what others won't do, what others are too afraid to do. You build momentum by confronting the hardest tasks head-on, without hesitation. Think about it. When you do something difficult, your mind and body are forced to engage at a higher level. You're no longer operating on autopilot. You're fully present. And when you push through those early barriers, you generate energy. You generate the kind of momentum that pulls you forward day after day. This isn't about waiting for motivation to strike. It's about creating your own motivation by taking action. And action is the key to building momentum. For example, when I wake up in the morning, I don't start by checking my phone or easing into the day with a cup of coffee. I start by tackling the hardest task on my list. That's how I set the tone for the day. I want to create a wave of momentum that carries me through. If I start with something easy, I won't build that energy. I'll slip into a pattern of mediocrity, letting distractions pull me in every direction. The same principle applies when you're working on long-term projects. Don't break them down into small, manageable steps that feel comfortable. Break them down into steps that challenge you. When you face the hard work first, you condition yourself to rise to the occasion. You turn resistance into power. You train your mind and body to expect challenges, and not only that, to thrive on them. But building momentum also requires consistency. It's not enough to push yourself once or twice. It's about showing up every day, even when you don't feel like it. When you wake up tired, when the world is pulling you in 100 different directions, that's when your discipline needs to kick in. It's about making it non-negotiable. Momentum isn't a one-time thing. It's a habit. And habits, once built, become a force of their own. When you show up consistently, when you push yourself to do the hard work, something remarkable happens. Your mind begins to believe that this is who you are. You're no longer the person who hesitates, the person who finds excuses, the person who lets fear hold them back. You become someone who takes action without thinking twice. And that's when momentum starts to work in your favor, propelling you forward faster than you ever thought possible. So, how do you create this unstoppable momentum? Start by doing what others are unwilling to do. Tackle the hardest task first and make it a non-negotiable part of your day. Show up every single day, no matter how you feel, and push through the resistance. The more you do this, the stronger your momentum becomes and the closer you get to achieving everything you've ever dreamed of. Here's a truth that many people fail to understand. Consistency is not about doing more. It's about doing what matters, day in and day out. It's about the small, deliberate actions you take every day, not the grand gestures or one-time efforts that you think will get you results. Most people look for shortcuts. They want a quick fix, a magic bullet that will get them to their goals faster. But real success isn't built on shortcuts. It's built on consistent effort, on doing the small things right every single day. It's about showing up, even when the path seems long and the results seem far away. And the power of consistency lies in its ability to compound over time. Think of it like a snowball. When you first start, it seems small, insignificant even. But as it rolls, it gathers more and more snow. building in size and power. Your efforts, when consistently applied, accumulate and grow, turning into something much bigger than what you started with.
This is where most people give up. They don't see results quickly enough, so they quit. They start a new habit, a new project, and when they don't see immediate success, they abandon it.
But real success doesn't happen overnight. It happens over months, years, even decades. It's the quiet, unglamorous work that people don't see. It's the time you put in when no one is watching. That's the real secret to success. Look at any successful person and you'll see one thing in common: consistency. They show up every day, they put in the work, even when it's hard, even when it feels like nothing is happening. And eventually, the results start to show. But here's the thing. By the time those results are visible, the person who has stayed consistent is no longer surprised. They've already become the person who does the work, who achieves, who creates. The results are simply the natural byproduct of their effort. Consistency isn't glamorous. It doesn't have the excitement of a big breakthrough or a dramatic change. But it's the foundation of all long-term success. It's the daily actions that, over time, lead to extraordinary results. And the best part is, it's within your control. You decide what actions to take, and you decide how often to take them. The choice is yours. So, the question is, what small, consistent actions are you willing to take today? What are you willing to commit to day after day, even when it gets hard, even when you don't see immediate results? Because it's not about doing more. It's about doing what matters and showing up consistently no matter what. And remember, consistency doesn't mean perfection. It means commitment. It means deciding today that you'll take one more step towards your goals, and tomorrow you'll take another. And the day after that, you'll take yet another. It's the cumulative effect of all those small actions that will lead you to the success you've been striving for. Keep showing up. Keep being consistent. And in time, you'll realize that the results were never in the big dramatic changes. They were in the small daily actions that you took without fail. Because that's where the real magic happens. Self-discipline. It's a word we all hear often. But what does it really mean? It's easy to think of self-discipline as a strict, unforgiving force. We associate it with sacrifice and the constant battle against temptation. But here's the truth. Discipline isn't about punishment or restriction. It's about ownership. It's about taking control of your actions and, ultimately, your life. Every decision you make in your day-to-day life is a choice. Whether it's the food you eat, the work you do, or how you spend your time, everything is a conscious choice. The people who achieve greatness aren't just those who make good decisions. They're the ones who make those decisions over and over again, day in and day out, no matter how difficult. They master their choices. They make the tough calls when it matters most. They don't wait for motivation to strike. They create it with every action they take. Self-discipline is the key to becoming the person who takes action, who doesn't wait for things to happen, but makes things happen. It's about aligning your actions with your goals, even when it's hard. It's about pushing through discomfort and choosing long-term rewards over short-term pleasure. It's the power to say no when your impulses scream yes. It's the strength to turn down distractions and focus on what matters most. Imagine a life where you don't just react to the world around you, but you make decisions that align with your values and your vision. That's what self-discipline allows you to do. It's the freedom to choose how you respond, no matter what the world throws at you. Because when you take responsibility for your actions, you take back control of your life. The most successful people don't rely on willpower alone. They don't wait for the right moment to act. They create habits, systems, and routines that make self-discipline easy. They don't have to fight themselves every day to get things done. They've built a structure that naturally leads them to success. So, how can you start building this power of self-discipline in your own life? It starts with a simple commitment,
Start today. Don't wait for the perfect moment. Don't wait for everything to fall into place. Start right now. Take one small action towards your goal, one small decision that aligns with your vision. It doesn't have to be a big dramatic change, just a small step every single day. Remember, self-discipline is not about perfection. It's about consistency. It's about showing up, even when it's hard. It's about making the choice to act, even when you don't feel like it. The more you do it, the easier it becomes, and over time, those small, disciplined actions add up. They compound. They turn into success. They turn into the life you've always dreamed of. So, take a moment to reflect on your choices today. What decisions will you make that will bring you closer to your goals? And more importantly, what decisions will you make that will bring you closer to becoming the person you want to be? Because in the end, the only thing that stands between you and your success is your willingness to make the right choices over and over again. Fear and doubt. They are two of the most powerful forces that hold us back. We all have them, in one form or another. The fear of failure. The fear of not being good enough. The doubt that we're capable of achieving the things we dream of. But here's the truth. Fear and doubt are not the enemies. They are the teachers. And if you can learn to embrace them rather than run from them, you will unlock a level of strength and courage you never knew you had. Fear is often seen as something to avoid. We try to shield ourselves from it. We run from it. We pretend it doesn't exist. But the truth is, fear is a natural part of growth. Every time you face something new, something bigger than yourself, fear will show up. It's a signal that you're pushing your boundaries, that you're stepping into the unknown. And that's exactly where you need to be if you want to grow. But here's the key. Fear is only powerful if you let it control you. The most successful people don't let fear stop them. They don't ignore it, but they don't let it dictate their actions either. They feel the fear, but they act anyway. They take the first step, even when they don't know how it will turn out. They use fear as fuel, not as a reason to hold back. Doubt is the same way. It's natural to question yourself when you're chasing something big. We all have moments of uncertainty, but doubt is not a reason to stop. It's a signal that you're on the right path. If you weren't challenging yourself, if you weren't trying something new, doubt wouldn't even be there. It's only when you step outside your comfort zone that doubt shows up. And that's exactly where growth happens. So, how do you overcome fear and doubt? The first step is to acknowledge them. Don't pretend they don't exist. Recognize them for what they are. Signs that you're stepping into the unknown. Then, take action anyway. Every time you act in spite of fear, you weaken its hold over you. Every time you push through doubt, you prove to yourself that you are capable of more than you thought. But overcoming fear and doubt doesn't mean you won't face challenges. In fact, the challenges will only get bigger. The bigger the goal, the bigger the fear. But each challenge is an opportunity. It's an opportunity to prove to yourself that you are stronger than you think. It's an opportunity to turn fear into power and doubt into confidence. The most successful people in the world are not the ones who never feel fear or doubt. They are the ones who have learned to face them, to work through them, and to keep moving forward no matter what. And you can do the same. So, the next time fear or doubt shows up, don't run from it. Don't try to hide from it. Embrace it. Use it as fuel. Let it push you forward. Because on the other side of fear is the life you've always wanted. And on the other side of doubt is the person you were always meant to become. Fear and doubt will never go away. But you don't need them to. You just need the courage to move forward, even when they're standing in your way. And when you do, you'll realize that fear is not something to fear at all. It's the key to your growth. Consistency is not the glamorous, attention-grabbing force that most people seek. It doesn't come with fanfare or instant results. In fact, it often goes unnoticed, quietly working in the background, day after day, month after month. Yet, it's the very thing that separates those who achieve their dreams from those who give up halfway through the journey.
In a world obsessed with instant gratification, we've lost sight of one of the most important truths. Success is built on consistency, not brilliance. You don't have to do everything perfectly. You don't need to have a grand plan for every step of the journey. What you need is a relentless commitment to show up day in and day out and do the work. The power of consistency lies not in doing something extraordinary, but in doing something ordinary repeatedly over a long period of time. Think of any great achievement, any success story you've heard. It wasn't the result of one big breakthrough. It wasn't the product of a single inspired action. It was the result of consistent effort over time, of showing up when no one was watching, of putting in the hours when it felt like no progress was being made. That's the secret. The real magic happens when you refuse to give up, when you keep pushing forward, even when the results seem distant, even when you're tired, even when you doubt yourself. Consistency isn't about waiting for the perfect moment. It's about making the moment perfect with your actions. You don't wait for motivation to strike. You create your own motivation by taking the first step. And when you take that first step, the next step becomes easier, and the next, over time, you create a rhythm, a flow, a routine. That's where the true power lies, in the daily choices, in the small, consistent actions that, when added together, create something extraordinary. But here's the catch. Consistency requires patience. It requires you to trust the process, even when you can't see the results right away. And this is where most people fail. They expect immediate rewards for their efforts, but success doesn't work that way. It's a long game. It's about putting in the work, even when it feels like you're not getting anywhere. It's about committing to the journey, not just the destination. So, how do you make consistency work for you? Start by creating a routine, a set of habits that align with your goals. These habits don't have to be huge or life-changing. In fact, it's often the smallest, simplest actions that have the biggest impact. Whether it's writing 500 words a day, exercising for 30 minutes, or reading for just 10 minutes before bed, it's the small, consistent habits that add up to big results over time. And remember, consistency doesn't mean perfection. There will be days when you slip up, when you fall off track. That's part of the process. What matters is that you get back up. What matters is that you keep showing up, even when it's hard, even when it feels like you're not making progress, because in the end, it's the steady, consistent effort that gets you to where you want to be. So, commit to your habits, commit to the process, and trust that the results will come. The power of consistency is unstoppable. It's the quiet force that builds success, one day at a time. The journey toward success is never a straight line. There will be twists, turns, and obstacles along the way. There will be moments when you feel lost, when you question whether it's all worth it. But in those moments, reflection is the tool that will keep you grounded, that will help you find clarity, and that will keep you moving forward. Reflection is not just about looking back at what you've done. It's about learning from every experience, from every challenge, from every mistake. It's about taking the time to step outside of the hustle and really think about what you've accomplished and where you're headed. Reflection is how you sharpen the saw, how you refine your strategy, how you adjust course when needed. Without reflection, you're just moving through life without purpose. You're not learning, you're not growing. Think of reflection as the mirror you hold up to yourself. It shows you what's working and what isn't. It allows you to see the patterns in your behavior, the choices you've made, and the lessons you've learned. But reflection isn't just about looking at your successes. It's about facing your failures, too. The greatest lessons often come from the moments when things didn't go as planned. It's in those moments that you learn the most about who you are, what you're capable of, and where you need to improve. The key to successful reflection is honesty. You have to be willing to look at yourself, to evaluate your actions without excuses, without rationalizations. It's easy to blame external circumstances or other people when things go wrong, but true growth happens when you take responsibility for your own choices. When you own your mistakes, you take control of your future. And that's when change happens. One of the most powerful ways to reflect is through journaling. Writing down your thoughts, your struggles, your victories, and your lessons helps you process everything that's happening in your life. It allows you to step back and look at the bigger picture, to identify areas where you can improve and to celebrate the progress you've made. Journaling gives you the space to think deeply and to create a plan for moving forward. Another powerful tool for reflection is seeking feedback from others. Sometimes, we're too close to our own lives to see the full picture. We get caught up in our own narratives, in our own limitations. But when you seek out feedback from people you trust, you get a fresh perspective. They can point out things you might have missed, offer new ideas, and help you see where you can improve. But reflection isn't just about learning from the past. It's also about using that knowledge to create a better future. Once you've reflected on your experiences, use what you've learned to adjust your course. Change the habits that aren't serving you. Make new decisions based on the lessons you've gained. Reflection isn't just a passive activity. It's a tool for active growth. So, how do you incorporate reflection into your life? Start by setting aside time each week to reflect on your progress. Ask yourself, what worked? What didn't? What can I improve? What have I learned? And most importantly, how can I apply those lessons moving forward? Remember, success is not about moving forward blindly. It's about moving forward with purpose, with clarity, and with a commitment to learning and growing every step of the way. Reflection is the key to unlocking that clarity and ensuring that every step you take brings you closer to the person you're meant to become. So, make reflection a regular part of your journey and use it as a tool to propel you toward your goals. Energy is the fuel that drives everything in your life. Without it, no amount of willpower or discipline will get you far. And yet, most people treat their energy like it's a limitless resource, not realizing that how you manage it is just as important as how you manage your time. If you want to unlock your full potential, you need to learn how to fuel your body and mind for maximum performance. The first thing to understand is that energy is not just about physical strength, it's about mental and emotional energy too. Your mind and emotions are just as crucial as your body when it comes to creating momentum. The way you manage your energy directly impacts your productivity, focus, and overall well-being. How do you manage your energy? The answer is simple: by creating routines that support it. What you eat, how much you sleep, how often you move, and the people you surround yourself with all play a role in your energy levels. The more intentional you are with how you fuel yourself, the more energy you'll have to pour into your goals and your work. Start with your morning routine. What you do in the first hour of your day sets the tone for everything that follows. If you wake up late, check your phone, and dive straight into work without any preparation, you're already setting yourself up for an unproductive day. On the other hand, if you start your day with intention, whether that means a workout, meditation, or a quiet cup of coffee, while you plan your day, you're setting yourself up for success. I've learned that starting the day with a clear mind and a focused body makes all the difference. When you wake up, your energy is like an empty tank. The way you fill it in the morning determines how much energy you'll have to invest in the rest of your day. Whether it's through exercise, hydration, or mental preparation, how you begin your day can give you the boost you need to stay focused and productive. Next, pay attention to what you eat. The food you consume affects both your physical energy and your mental clarity. If you're constantly fueling yourself with sugar and caffeine, you're likely to experience energy crashes that leave you feeling sluggish and unfocused. On the other hand, whole foods, balanced meals, and proper hydration will give you sustained energy throughout the day. Treat your body like the machine it is and give it the fuel it needs to perform at its best. Physical activity is another crucial piece of the energy puzzle. It doesn't matter if you're lifting weights, running, or simply walking around the block. Moving your body boosts your energy and sharpens your mind. Physical activity gets the blood flowing, releases endorphins, and helps you stay sharp throughout the day. If you want to be productive, you must keep your body in motion. It's that simple. But it's not just about physical exercise. It's about emotional energy too. The people you spend time with, the environments you put yourself in, and the mental habits you cultivate all contribute to your overall energy levels. If you're constantly surrounded by negativity, stress, or toxic people, It will drain your energy. To thrive, you need to protect your emotional energy by surrounding yourself with positive influences and environments that uplift you. Managing your energy is not just a nice to have, it's a necessity for achieving anything meaningful in life. Without energy, your focus fades, your productivity slows down, and your motivation wanes. So, take the time to recharge, build routines that support your energy, and watch how your life transforms. Now understand this. Managing your energy isn't about perfection, it's about progress. Even if you don't have a perfect morning routine, or if you slip up and eat junk food one day, don't beat yourself up. Just get back on track. Every day is a new opportunity to make better choices, to fuel yourself better, to invest your energy more wisely. The key is consistency. The more you honor your energy, the more you'll have to give. It's one thing to have a dream. It's another thing to make that dream a reality. Dreams are powerful. They inspire us. They push us forward. They give us a reason to get up every morning. But dreams without action are nothing more than wishful thinking. The real work begins when you start turning your dreams into tangible outcomes. It's easy to get caught up in the excitement of having a dream. We see the vision in our minds, we feel the emotions, we imagine the success. But dreams are nothing if they're not backed up by action. Action is what turns vision into reality. It's what transforms ideas into accomplishments. The first step in turning your dreams into reality is to get specific. Most people have vague, general dreams. I want to be successful. I want to be rich. Or I want to be happy. But these dreams are too broad to act on. You need to define what success means for you. What does your ideal life look like? What does being successful truly mean? Once you've gotten clear on your vision, it's time to set goals. Big, bold, ambitious goals. Goals that scare you just a little bit, because if they don't, they're not big enough. But here's the trick. You can't just set goals and hope for the best. You have to break those goals down into actionable steps. Every big goal should have smaller, manageable actions that you can take every day. This is where consistency comes into play. Dreams don't become reality through wishful thinking, or by simply hoping things will work out. They become reality when you show up, day after day, and put in the work. It's about taking consistent, deliberate action toward your goals. It's about sticking to the plan, even when it gets tough. But here's the most important part. You can't do it alone. Success requires a team, a network, and a support system. Surround yourself with people who believe in you, who push you to be better, and who hold you accountable when you get off track. No one achieves greatness in isolation. It's the collective efforts of a team, the guidance of mentors, and the support of friends and family that make success possible. And finally, remember this. The road to your dreams will not be easy. There will be obstacles, setbacks, and moments when you want to quit. But those moments are not the end of your journey. They are part of the process. The difference between those who achieve their dreams and those who don't is not talent. It's persistence. It's the ability to keep going when it's hard, to keep pushing forward even when it feels impossible. So, if you have a dream, don't just sit there and hope for it to happen. Take action. Set clear goals. Break them down into actionable steps, and commit to showing up every day. And when the road gets tough, remember this. The only thing standing between you and your dream is your willingness to keep moving forward, one step at a time. Turning your dreams into reality is not a matter of luck. It's a matter of choice. The choice to take consistent action. The choice to persist in the face of adversity. The choice to turn your vision into something real. So, make that choice today. Your dream is waiting. All you have to do is take the first step, and then the next, and the next.